So today what I want to talk about is creating an abundant mindset. Now, when we have an abundant mindset, what that means is that we're thinking in alignment with money. We're thinking in alignment with money coming to us easily. You know, often we feel like that we have to work hard to get anywhere in life. It has to be a hard slog. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. So, okay, let me go into the tips that I'm going to give. I'm going to give you 3 tips today on how to create an abundant mindset. Now, the first one is to give generously. Now, I know I spoke yesterday about, doing all those little things that you can do to help to raise your vibration, your financial vibration, like leaving the extra quarters in the meter or, always rounding up when you're tipping, when you're going to restaurants and things like that. And these are only things that are a small amount of money, but, whenever I do them, I acknowledge that I do them from a place of abundance. It's all about how we feel. Emotion is the vibration, and when we can be in that emotion of abundance and gratitude, then that's what we step into. Sometimes you might just want to, as you're leaving the house, I don't know about you, but I have like this little pot that's got all this, the coins in it, because I hate carrying the coins around in my purse. So, if I grab a couple of those or a handful of those and put them in my pocket, so that when, living in San Diego and LA, we have quite a few people that are on the street that are asking for money, then I have some coins and things that I can actually give to them. Again, it's not a lot of money, but I'm doing it from a place of abundance. So doing something like that is really important. And it doesn't necessarily have to be money. I remember seeing a video on Facebook not long ago of, I think it must have been in a subway in New York. And there was a gentleman there, and he just had like a singlet. What do you guys call that? A tank top on. And it was obviously pretty cold because everyone else around him had jackets on. And a guy actually got up and took his jacket off and gave it to this guy so that he had something to keep him warm. So it could be something as simple as that. If it's cold and you can see someone is freezing and they're homeless or whatever, maybe you give them a pair of gloves. It can be something small like that, but again, it's coming from a place of generosity, meaning that when you're in that vibration, you know that there's a flow, there's an energy to abundance coming into your life. And like we said yesterday, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of money. Remember, the definition of abundance is being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want it, and having the resources to be able to do it. And the resources doesn't necessarily need to show up as cash or finances. It could just show up as an opportunity. It could show up as, someone gifting you something. But, being in that place to be able to receive that is also really important as well, and realizing that as well. Okay, so tip number 2 is treat yourself. Ooh, now this is something that we forget to do often. When we treat ourselves, we're doing it from a place of, I have everything that I need. I'm in this positive mindset. So how am I going to reward myself? Especially as women, it's easy for us to give to everybody. We're happy to give out. And especially if you have the kind of mindset where it's easy for you to spend money on other people like your family, but not on yourself, that could be a part of a limiting belief that you have. And you want to look at how you can actually, be able to, treat yourself and be able to look after yourself as well. Because our self-care is really important, especially when we are looking after our families and other people around us, or if we're doing any kind of, inspiring work or anything like that. So treating yourself. Now, the other thing that I like about this is that, I did a little thing on Facebook a while ago, and I think it's time for me to do another one. And I called it I Love Me Week. # I Love Me Week. So I kind of found myself getting into all these habits that, I was watching TV at night, I was reaching for a glass of wine every evening, and it wasn't that like this was bad, but I'm like, I'm falling back into habits that I don't want to get into because I have a lot of things that I want to achieve. So rather than going, okay, I'm going to deprive myself of TV and deprive myself of wine or whatever, what I would do is say, okay, everything I do for this week is going to be in love for myself. So if I'm loving myself, I'm, reading, I'm going out for bike rides, I'm having a massage, I'm, going for walks on the beach. I'm doing things that really make me feel good, but that are for my health, that are in alignment for me. So I think it's a good shift to go from, I'm going to deprive myself of all this stuff to, you know what, I'm going to do this in love for myself. And when you can shift your perspective on that and you can shift the way that you look at it, it makes it easier for you to take on these new habits and be able to, really sit in that and do it for the love of yourself, which I think is really important as well. Because here's the other thing that we're saying here as well is that there's no room for guilt or depravity in an abundant lifestyle. Ooh, think about it. There's no room for guilt or depravity. So, which means that when we're spending time on ourselves or money on maybe it's just being able to sit down and have a cup of tea without any interruption from anyone in the family. Or maybe, your guilty pleasure is there's a particular show that you like and you just want to sit down for 40 minutes and watch that show uninterrupted. The thing is, we don't want to feel guilty about that. Maybe you do want to go for a massage. We don't want to feel guilty about that, because as soon as we feel guilty, then it just undoes all the good that we did trying to treat ourselves. Remember, what the energy around what we do is what's most important. It's like when we're visualizing, we want to feel what it's like to already be in this new reality. When we're being generous, we want to do that and acknowledge the feeling of abundance while we're doing it. And if we're treating ourselves, we want to make sure that we do it from a place of love for ourselves and knowing that what we're doing is filling our cup so that we can be a better co-worker, a better mother, a better wife, a better husband, or whatever that is, so that we can also, do that the same, step up into that amazing, new energy. Okay, so the next one that I want to go through, tip 3, is to say yes to invitations. So if you've ever turned down dinner or a movie or a party invitation, a lot of the times it's because we're not set up to receive. Now, I have a book that I want to recommend. If you ever get the chance, I listen to all my books on audio, and Shonda Rhimes, she's the woman that created Grey's Anatomy and Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, these TV shows. And she wrote a book called A Year of Yes. Because she would get all these invitations to all these places and to the Grammys or the Emmys and all these places, she would say no. So she decided to have a full year of yes. But again, her yes was always in alignment for her highest good. And so when you can get into a place where someone will offer you, how many times do people go, can I get you a drink, or let me pay for dinner? And you're like, no. Let me do that. Well, when we're doing that, if we're not receiving something, a small gift like that from a friend, how can we accept any of the abundance that the universe has coming our way? How can we do that? We need to be in that state of to and fro and be open to receiving as well as to giving. And that's what, that's a big one for a lot of us, because, I even know, with my family when I was growing up, we were 8 kids, big family. But, Mum was a very proud woman and she didn't like to accept help from anyone. So, that was one of the programs that I had growing up. You don't take handouts. You don't get help from other people because you're going to stand on your own 2 feet. But what that does is actually stop you from wanting to receive. So that's another thing.